good night to everyone. I missed you last week, and you know why we weren't here last week because we were having the budget debates last week. It was quite an exciting week, and it was a week that was filled with persons being disillusioned. It was a week that was filled with a whole lot of hypocrisy. It was a week that was filled with fluff, bluff, plenty of it. It was also a week where the opposition MPs were sidelined. As a matter of fact, the opposition MPs, their speeches in some instances were not carried by NCN television station. And you know what? These are the people who continue to talk about one Guyana, one Guyana. But here it is, the opposition member of parliaments and the members of parliaments are not allowed to carry their full presentation. Some presentations were carried, some were carried in parts, and some the PPP were very crafty to pull out some of what they thought was beneficial to them and to highlight that. But tonight you're going to be we're here joined for another episode of Advancing the Cause. And I thought that I had to be here tonight to give some highlights on what is happening. Now, we've had quite a lot of persons who celebrated their birthdays last week and during this week. So I want to say happy birthday to you. And then we have some persons who are going to be celebrating their birthdays later this week. Happy birthday in advance to you. And then, of course, we've got persons, citizens who have lost loved ones, and we want to extend to you our sincerest condolences. It's not easy to lose a loved one, but you know what? Um, God knows best, as we would say. And it's always very hard to be parting with ones who you love. But sometimes we cannot continue to watch them suffer, and God, in His mercies, allow them to be taken for us. But be assured that as long as you believe in the Almighty and you do the things that are in accordance with His will, that you'll be able to see those loved ones again. Amen. So tonight, folks, we are joined again for another episode. Tonight, I'm going to focus very quickly on education, what's happening in the education sector. I know that I have lots of friends who are watching us, those who are watching us from Barbados, Marcia Weeks and the others, those who are watching us from Jamaica, St. Vincent, St. Lucia. We've got our friends in Paris. We've got our friends in Turkey. We've got our friends in Switzerland. We've got our friends all over, and they're all watching us at this time. So I want to say good night to all of those persons who are watching us. Just note that you're in for a power packed evening with lots and lots of information. We've got Miss Williams, we've got Rhonda Thom, we've got Lambert, we've got Yvonne, we got Morna, we've got plenty persons who are watching us and shout big up, big up, big up, big up to you. Another budget, another load of poverty and stress and suppression is on the necks of the Guyanese people with this $1 trillion budget. This $1 trillion budget, I want to let you know that 40% of this budget is loans. 40% of this budget is loans that the government will take. And so that 40% of the $1 trillion budget will cause you, the teachers, you, the nurses, you, our ordinary citizens, to be in more stress, more debt for you. Your children, your grandchildren, they're all going to be burdened with more debts. So when you hear them talk about this big $1 trillion budget, 1 point whatever $1 trillion budget, don't feel that there's anything there for you, because if there was anything there for you, then they would say it. If you check that budget, then you'll see that there's nothing there for us, the ordinary citizens. And so, Mr. Mohabir, good night to you, my brother. I love you. Dorella Williams, Sharon Griffith, good night to all of you. Lester Weeks, good night to you too. I love you all, and I want you to pay rapt attention to what I have to say. Now, we've got two big things happening. The education sector has been proposed. They've proposed $135.2 $1 billion for education. But in all the proposals that we're doing and all the budgets that have passed for education, all the supplementary budgets that we would have had, that education was a part of, I've not seen the lives of teachers being improved. I've not seen any improvement in the lives of teachers. All that we hear about is teachers crying out every day, nurses crying out every day, other public servants crying out every day, policemen and women, the Ghana Defense Force officers, the lower ranks, they're all crying out. Our fire policemen, they're crying every day because you know what? With all the billions that are being assigned or allotted to these sectors, these different ministries, the lives of our workers is not improving. As a matter of fact, if you look at the way our firemen have to fight fires, the hose in itself got more holes and water spilling out and water spewing out and spilling and whatever you want to call it, more than what is coming through the nozzle in front. More holes than holes in the hoses. And it makes the life of our firemen difficult because they can't perform effectively. If you look at how they're operating, the trucks that they have to use, I mean, with all them billions that we pass in, they can't buy 2 more trucks. They can't. Madia, for example, look at what they have there. Look at the road there that the fire truck has got to use. And you know what? Because of the road that the fire truck had to use is what delayed them a whole lot from being able to save many more lives that were lost in that Madia Dorms fire. But we'll come to that too. But I want to say to you, the minister in her rebuttal during her presentation, rather than highlighting what the Ministry of Education has planned there for teachers and our children, the minister continued to lash. The coalition didn't do this, the coalition didn't do that, the coalition didn't do the other. But what the minister stopped short of saying is that the coalition took over after 23 years of their reign. 23 years of their reign, the coalition took over government. And they expected the coalition to do in 3 full years what they could not have done in 23 years. In 23 years, after 23 years, when the coalition took office, we came and we met lots and lots of dilapidated schools. You know, the minister didn't say that. We came there and we had to actually do over the entire Cato Secondary School. The minister stopped short of saying that. The minister didn't speak about all of those primary schools that the coalition built and rehabilitated. The minister didn't talk about all the nursery schools that the coalition government built without oil resources and rehabilitated. But the minister jumps on a bandwagon to speak about the coalition did not build 1 secondary school. But I want to tell the minister, I want to remind the minister that the school she went to, it was built during the PNC's time. I want to remind the minister that the PNC built all of those multilateral schools that they have now disbanded and they have caused now to be watered down schools. I want to remind her that it was the president, LFS Burnham, who caused the creation of the President's College, the same school of excellence that they have watered down at this time. She did not remember to say that. But the minister is very pompous with what she does and what she says, you know. And because she gets the backing of some of her colleagues like Kwame, who were no different from her. And, you know, I'm saying if the minister were a different woman, if she were a woman of class, then she would not have gone there to abuse out the ambassador, the US ambassador. So pray to hell was you, because we don't respect you, because you have no respect for yourself. It was the very minister who sat in parliament and was screaming when nobody did her anything. And then she went on to talk about, oh, and they touched me here and they touched me there. She liked the touching. She liked it. Let me say that to you. She liked the touches, you know? But these people, we want to ask again, why are they borrowing so much monies when we have so much? Why are they still borrowing monies when we have so much? Robin Simon, call up your friends, call up your neighbors, tell them advancing the cause is on. Tell them advancing the cause is on. Let them turn on their televisions, turn on their phones, because we in for some truth tonight, more truth. You see, the minister and those in the PPP, they have convenient memories. Convenient memories. The minister didn't tell us, that they started Bamia Primary School 2+ years ago and it cannot be completed as yet. And you know what? Their friends are asking for extension and more monies. She didn't tell us that. But I said, like I said in my presentation there, if the Ministry of Education think that buildings will solve the crisis we have in education, because education is in crisis. If they think that that buildings will solve the crisis, it will not solve the crisis. If it were to revolve those crises, then we would not. If buildings were to do that, then we would not need any Ministry of Education. What we would need is two ministries of public works, not education, because buildings is the answer to our problems. But back to the education system. In education, we saw last year billions of dollars being given to education. But you know what? What we are seeing them doing, buildings and more buildings and more buildings. And half of the buildings, they're not proper. If you were to test the standards, they're not proper. They are not proper. Many of those schools that they started, many of the schools that were completed, because many of those secondary schools, let me say to you, Good Hope and all of those secondary schools, St. Roses, and all of those secondary schools that they talk about, they started under us. We got the funding for them, but it was because of some wicked persons that we did not get to remain in government, so we could have completed what we started. We started those buildings, but yet they cannot complete the buildings and to complete them satisfactorily. Look at, I keep talking about St. Gabriel's Nursery. You put up a big fancy building, but the flooring is dust. Can't even have proper lighting, proper windows. Just before school reopened in January, I had to make it known there that unless they better fix the school. So quick time they went there to put vinyl on the floor. Vinole, whatever we want to call it. They went to put that on the floor and they still could not complete it, because I visited that school on the Wednesday after school reopened and half of the downstairs was not completed. So these people are about peace and part work, so that their friends and their families and their favorites and the flatterers could live a big life on the backs of Guyanese people. So education is in crisis. And there is no need for us to be borrowing monies that we borrow. But let's talk more about education. We have seen coming from the teachers. The teachers have been begging. They're asking all the time. They're pleading. They're talking all the time. They're begging. They're crying. What is happening to us? I went to a branch meeting today, and you know what the teachers asked? The teacher said, Miss, could you find out from the government, find out from the minister, what sin have we committed that is causing them to treat us the way they're treating us? We have seen them taking priority payments to the sugar workers. We don't have an issue with that, but at the same time you're looking after sugar workers, look after us too. What have we done? What have the nurses done? But you know what? I can tell you clearly, as long as you don't look like them, then they have no care for you. So don't bother with all the foolish talks when they're saying, oh, the coalition MPs and APNU MPs are talking about, oh, the friends and favorites and families are their people. Yes, they're our people. No, you are not their people. You are not their people. You are not their friends. You are not their cronies, because you don't sing the same songs that they sing. And I want to say further, in the history of this country, this country, you check the education ministers we would have had in this country, and you decide who's the worst minister of education that we would have had in this country throughout the history of this country, starting from LFS Burnham. You check them and you tell me who is the worst of ministers of education that we would have had. You see, education cannot be built on politics. Education can't be built on politics. Education is a policy based ministry and it cannot be based on politics. But what the minister has done, she has politicized the Ministry of Education. She has politicized the Ministry of Education. And I'm going to tell you, how she has politicized the Ministry of Education. You look at all at the top brass of the Ministry of Education and you tell me what you see. You tell me who are the people you see there. You tell me who are the persons that are being sidelined within the Ministry of Education. So if that's about friends and that the people are their family and you're sidelining them, then something is wrong with the definition of who friends are and who associates and flatterers and favorites are. The Ministry of Education, they are so wicked. The officers, some of them are so wicked that they go after teachers. As long as you don't sing the same song with them, they go after you. Now, I don't want to go too much into the budget because I have to deal with that. So I don't want to put the issues out there and the questions out there because, you know, they're on the program here, they're watching, and I'm happy that they're watching, but they wouldn't know the questions that I'm going to ask the minister this evening when the estimate for education come up. But I can say to you, these people are wicked. So the GTU has gone through the entire process where when you're negotiating, what you have to do. We've gone through that. It's not the first time that we're going through this. And I want to say good night to the Chief Education Officer, Mr. Saddam Hussein. I want to say good night to you, Mr. Hussein, and to remind you that you were a teacher just the other day in the school system. And you did not stand for stupidness in the school system. When education officers went to you and they couldn't deliver, you gave them the treatment. But you know what? This time around, you're not allowing teachers to do that because the shoes is on a different foot for you this time. You know, you were a teacher in the system just the other day. And we have been talking about the burden that teachers have to face with notes of lessons. We spoke about the burden to write schemes. We spoke about the burden that teachers have to face with all of these big classes. We spoke about classes that are in auditoriums divided by chalkboard or a screen. We spoke about all of that. So don't come out here to say that you have implemented this and you have implemented this. You're being very dishonest. Let me say that to you. And for your information, Mr. Saddam Hussein, this impending strike is not a Coretta McDonald strike. Just get that clear. The letter was signed by the General Secretary, who is Coretta McDonald. So you must know how to write your letters. Don't talk about the Coretta McDonald. You're too biased with yourself. You're damn biased. And let me tell you that. But you know what? I understand the problem that you and all of your officers have with Coretta McDonald, but you will continue to live with me. Whether you like it or not, you will continue to live with me. A pack of what I don't know. So Mr. Saddam Hussein sends out there 3 circulars. 3 in 3 days. 3 circulars. One I just saw with him saying to teachers and head teachers and deputies and senior leadership team and ordinary teachers, saying to them that the ministry, GTU submitted, I think it's 44 proposal, and the Ministry of Education would have already dealt with 25. You've said that. I saw that in the notice there. And he went on to say, look how these people are malicious with themselves, that there are 2 proposals there that will only benefit GTU and GTU executive. Put the proposals out there. You put them out there. The only asking that we've asked, and we've been asking that from since 2006, and it happened before, where we asked that the president and the general secretary be released full time. That's what we ask you for. So you tell me what is benefiting officers of the union. Don't run around this place trying to cause discord among our members, because you will not succeed. You will not succeed. Maybe some of your friends and so on, they will run with the nonsense. But let me make it clear here. Y'all are very, 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 very disgruntled because the GTU is up in arms. And let me say to you, Mr. Hussein, your writing there portrays a man who doesn't have sense, who big and ain't got no sense. Because if one individual, Coretta McDonald, could cause an entire executive of 10 plus 4, 14 officers of the GTU, plus 42 general council reps, So do the maths, you add it, plus tens of thousands of teachers. If one individual can ensure that her word to say we will strike tomorrow and everybody follow her, then something is wrong with those people around there, but nothing is wrong with our people. So don't go out there to talk about Coretta McDonald and Coretta McDonald with your craziness. But I know that you have a problem with Coretta McDonald. But let me tell you, Mr. CEO, you see the messages that you refuse to answer, we will deal with them at other forums. Nonsense with you. You are a paid public servant to do the biddings of the teachers, but you decide that you want to take a side. You don't want to be professional. And I want to remind you too that it was the same Coretta McDonald, General Secretary of the GTU, who was there with the teachers in 2018 that you supported. So don't come here to play no decent boy, because you're not decent. Let me say that to you. And I have no apologies for saying that to you or about you. Don't come here and make yourself crazy. You are sitting there as the chief education officers. Teachers are being bruised, abused, battered by you, some of your officers and parents, as well as students. And how much help are you offering? Huh? How much help are you offering? Boy, don't rile me up this good night, because you sound very stupid in that letter. So that's one memo he's sending out, because we've instructed we've set our members, and we don't give instructions. We are spelling everything out to our members, and they understand. We set our head teachers, go lodge your keys. As long as you're prepared to be on the strike action, go lodge your keys. Well, you know what bouncing them up is because we are going on strike come Monday. So Priya Manik-Chan, Saddam Hussein, and the whole pack of you, hell or high water, our teachers will be withholding their services on Monday. You can say what you want. You can say how illegal the strike is going to be, because we don't expect you to say that the strike is legal. We don't expect you to say that the strike is legal. Y'all are a set of wicked people. Wicked people. So this thing that they're pushing now, oh, Coretta McDonald, member of parliament. Coretta McDonald has been elected General Secretary of the Ghana Teachers Union. Saddam, if you don't know that, let me remind you, I was not selected like you. I have been elected General Secretary of the Ghana Teachers Union, elected by thousands of our teachers. Thousands of our teachers, not 200, thousands of our teachers. And all the competitors that y'all put to run against me, none of them were able to defeat me. Because teachers recognize that here is an individual who is just, honest, and she's committed to what she does and committed to representing teachers. So y'all don't come run around this place. I have been General Secretary from 2006. I got full-time release in March of 2015. And if y'all want, you don't sign that. It will not deter the GTU from doing what it has done or what it is supposed to do. Because let me say to you, the late Osborne, Mr. Osborne, served as president of the GTU. He was released full-time. And when he stood up against the government, they pulled the full-time release from him. But you know what? That did not deter him. He continued to function as president. So don't run around this place and feel y'all got anything over anybody's head. So you must be honest. Don't tell teachers out there that The GTU, there are two issues, there are two conditions there for GTU officers. What are the conditions? You talk about it. What are those conditions? You must tell the people that you tried to buy a few of the GTO officers by issuing administrative appointments to some of them. That's what you need to tell people. Don't run around this place, Saddam Hussein. Don't run around. So Saddam issued that memo this evening. Then you know what? They talk about all they're doing for teachers, all they're doing, everything you're doing for teachers, everything right you're doing for teachers, but yet teachers crying. What happened? Teachers covetous? It got to be. Because if you're doing all of these things to teachers and teachers are still crying, then something is wrong. So you're doing all of these things for teachers, but yet teachers have to go out there to literally beg persons out there to assist them when they have to roll off test papers, when they have to roll off worksheets, when they have graduation to secure the prizes and the trophies. Teachers have to go out there and beg for that. When it's Christmas time, teachers have to go out there and beg. And you know what? The PPP are such a wicked bunch of people that when they see persons going out there to the assistance of our teachers, Wahid, don't bother with Wahid. Wahid is just another clown with them. When they see persons, kind-hearted persons, very considerate persons, persons who understand that poor people are suffering in this oil-rich economy, people like the Mohammeds, when they see them going out there to offer toys to the children and to offer a printer or a microwave or a laptop or a refrigerator, those things, it makes them feel bad. So you know what they do? They issue a memo now to say, oh, if the schools have to collect any donation from anybody from the outside, it must pass through Central Ministry and the Departments of Education for them to give the approval. What the hell is wrong with these people? Huh? You are there and you're not providing for the schools. The schools got to go out there and seek out kind-hearted citizens who are willing to aid in the success of their programs. And now, because you want to spite one or two persons, you're telling the schools that the schools should not accept donations and they must not accept gifts. And if they must send to you who the donor is. Y'all is shame? Y'all is shame, PPP? Priya and Saddam, y'all is shame? Huh? Y'all should hide y'all faces behind a bag. So they recognize that this guy, Azruddin Mohammed, I don't know the guy. I don't know where the guy living, but I've seen the guy doing some nice things around where he's bringing smiles to the faces of our children, ease to our teachers, things that the Ministry of Education is not doing, he is doing. So now they are taking away the authority from our head teachers. But head teachers, I can blame y'all. I can blame y'all. Huh? I can blame y'all. They are now taking away your authority to say, if persons are to come to the school to have moral talks with the children, they have to approve it. You must send the information to them, so they have to approve it. Right away, you recognize that persons like Coretta McDonald, well, y'all can't stop me because I'm General Secretary for the GTU. Persons like Coretta McDonald, persons like Amanza Walton Nazir, persons like Christopher Jones, and all of those persons who go into schools from time to time, they will not approve those persons. Persons like Nigel Hughes and so on who would go into schools and talk to children, they will not approve it. The only persons who they are going to approve are going to be their cronies. What kind of country is this? Huh? This got to be a whole country that what's his name talk about? Bigley, the man Bigley from the US. What's his name? I can't even remember. And Trump. You know? It got to be a whole country, because for a government to be so petty, if you don't want the teachers beg, provide it. If you don't want the teachers ask, provide it. If you don't want the children to get toys, provide it, because many of their parents can't afford to do it for them. Y'all too nasty with yourselves. So when they're finished with that, They're gone to another circular now, and they talk about teachers' absences and teachers' lateness, and it will be 30% of your absences or lateness, some craziness to that effect. I mean, these people are not even considerate that teachers, with all the roads that are digging up all over the place, they're not taking into consideration that teachers have to travel in public transportation. Could you imagine? These wicked people are telling teachers that when they get to 52 years old, they will get duty-free concession. And that's outside of the regular teachers there who are eligible, like the SMs and the HMs and the HODs. Others who are 52 years, when you get to that age, if you have not qualified, you will get duty free. What teachers doing with duty free at 52 years old? Huh? Especially a teacher who doesn't have children. What are doing with duty free at 52 years old? These people had good. These people had good. You think they had good? All them traffic congestions everywhere. Thank you, Hazel Pyle. All them traffic congestions everywhere. And you're telling teachers if they're late for so long, then they are going to be deemed for 30%, then you're going to give them warning letter, and then you dismiss them. So you're dismissing them to make way for your friends and your families to come in, right? Y'all hurry up. Hurry up and come. Hurry up and come with it. Bare nonsense. A whole lot of foolishness going on in this system, and they don't want people to talk about it. And then I see y'all goodly friend Priya. She said I'm obsessed with her. I don't know obsessed for what. I don't know obsessed for what and about what. But they have said that she and, well, I'll come to him. I saw her with her colleague there talking about the strike action. Well, let me say to you folks, parents who are watching us here, I want to ask for your support for the teachers, because teachers are going to embark on industrial action come Monday, the 5th of February. Teachers will embark on industrial action. And this was the last resort that the GTU's executive would have taken. Not Coretta McDonald, the GTU's executive would have taken. That we are going to embark on industrial action because we have gone through every aspect. And the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Labor, they have not acknowledged what we were saying to them. So we have decided that we are going to have industrial action. So that industrial action starts on Monday. And as long as our teachers are withdrawing their services, it means that your children will be in school and they're going to be left unattended. So parents, I'm informing you, teachers will be withdrawing their services come Monday, the 5th of February. And let me say to you, the PPP, their intention is to mash this country up. That's their intention, to mash this country up. But we will stand firm. We will stand firm and not allow these nincompoops to mash this country up, because they don't have your interest at heart. You check to see where many of them, where the schools their children are going to. You check it out. They don't come to the regular schools like ordinary citizens' children. They don't face the consequences that our children face. And when they're finished with schooling in Guyana, they send them overseas on our taxpayers' dollars. I heard Joe Hamilton talking about the strike is illegal. Well, we don't expect Joseph Hamilton to say that our strike is legal. Anytime he says that, he got to start walking from Brickdown, where he used to catch BV, where he's living. He can't say that the strike is legal. It will always be deemed illegal for him. But you know, this man ain't got no shame. This man ain't got no shame whatsoever, because this man is supposed to be the Minister of Labor, who is supposed to be acting as the mediator, who is supposed to bring the two sides together as long as they can't agree. The Ministry of Labor is supposed to bring them together. Rather than doing that, the Minister of Labor has taken a position. He has sided with his government. And so our teachers understand exactly where we are. And so All past teachers, we're asking you to support us. Teachers who have children, their children will also feel the squeeze because we will not send our teachers home. We will not send them to school, sorry. We will keep our children at home. So parents, just a note that teachers are going to be withholding their services. Now, Joseph Hamilton and Priya went out there to talk about the strike is illegal and consequences will follow. Well, consequences have been following teachers all the time. All the time, consequences have been following the teachers all the time. Where some teachers, their salaries don't even reach to half the month. And you got so much monies. But you know what the monies are being used to do? To fatten Priya and her friends. That's what the monies are being used to do. They gone to all these places and they eat big, offer monies, the citizens' monies, taxpayers' monies. That's what they do. And she got people driving around in vehicles who are supposed to not have government vehicles. She got them driving around the place in vehicles. She must fix that. That is what she needs to fix. They got them doing all kinds of foolishness with government vehicles when the vehicles are supposed to be used to do other things. Priya should fix the officers that she got at the Ministry of Education. All of those officers, who got stationery shops and the money is going to them to provide stationery for the school, she should fix that. Those officers who got their families cooking here and cooking there, and then they're submitting big bills to the ministry for activities, she must fix that. Don't punish the teachers. But you know what? It is clear for all to see that this government, this installed regime, they are very disrespectful to public servants, to nurses and teachers. And you know why? Because many of the teachers are presumed to be coalition supporters. Indigenous teachers, Afro teachers, East Indian teachers, teachers who are mixed up, because they are deemed to be coalition supporters, they are punishing them. They are punishing us, but we ain't gonna take punishment for too long. We ain't gonna take punishment for too long. Long time done, short time left. I just want y'all to know that. But I just want you to look at this. In this oil-rich economy, with the billions that education and local government were given before, and they have more billions now. Look at what we got in this oil-rich economy. Look at what is happening. St. John the Baptist Primary School in Bartico. Look at what's happening. You see the floor there? That is what is happening. Fixing that. Priya, Saddam Hussein, the regional executive officer in region number 7, that is what they should be fixing. Those are the conditions that people's children have to go to school under. Those are the conditions that teachers have to work under. And you're telling me which group of teachers you care about. Look at the children there, a mixture of children, and they're all being punished by Priya Manik Chand and her government. Look at it. Look at the children there. This is what is happening in Bartico. We got the BV primary school. Every day the teachers are plagued with pigeon down. Every day the teachers have to be running, wiping, scraping, chasing pigeons off. Every single day. Peters Hall Primary. If they get water for 1 week, the next 3 weeks they're not getting water. The cleaners have to fetch water to flush the toilets. The teachers have to leave their schools to go to the mall to use the bathroom there if they want to use the bathroom. And then Saddam Hussein, you writing foolishness? Go and fix those. Go and fix those. And those are just 3 schools in Linden, region number 10. 11 schools were affected. 11 schools with fleas. They can't spray those fleas and get them out of the place. Huh? They can't spray them out. When it's not fleas, it's toilet issues. When it's not toilet issues, it's just the same like St. John the Baptist. When it rains, it's a dry weather school. Y'all gonna fix the, go and tell your friends to get Bamia up and running so that our children can go to school and be in comfort. That is what you're supposed to do. But rather than doing that, you up in arms with the GTU's strike. You up in arms that Coretta McDonald, one person, could make such a decision, but it's bad. So let me tell you that. It's bad like no. You know, these people are so disgusting. And they're such a virus to this nation. You check it. Every time the PPP are in office, schools are being burnt. Every time the PPP get in office, schools are being burnt. Every time we got the PPP in office, you check it. Cocaine in lobsters, cocaine in fish, cocaine in achar, cocaine in awara, cocaine in book covers, cocaine in strap-on bodies, cocaine everywhere. You check it every time the PPP are in office. And you talking about what? This disgraceful bunch of y'all try to do to intimidate teachers. You will not intimidate the teachers because the teachers will stand there. And I want you to know that parents out there are in support of their teachers. Many civil-minded citizens out there are in support of the teachers. So you can talk what you want. The PPPS, Joyanne, they are a national disaster to this country. They are Guyana's national disaster. Shameful bunch of people, you know? And they want to talk about what they're doing for the youths. They're doing this for the youths. They're doing that for the youths. You're doing for the youths, and a minister's niece was caught with cocaine strapped to her body. Huh? And you're doing for the youths. If you are doing enough for the youths, or you're doing for the youths, then that niece would not have done what she did there. So get from here. Don't come here to talk foolishness. Huh? Y'all really get me crazy this evening. I really didn't want to come out this evening, but I had to leave Parliament to come out here to let the people out there know. Huh? Nurses are leaving in their drones, and y'all come talking nonsense. Doctors are leaving in their drones, and y'all coming out here to talk nonsense. So, my colleagues in region number 1, let me say to you, the GTU got your back. All 3 of the sub-regions, Port Kaituma, Maruka, and Mabaruma, the GTU got your back. The strike will be on Monday and teachers will be present. Region number 2, GTU got your backs. And let me tell you, you know, they start calling the teachers in region number 2 on the Essequibo Coast and threatening them. Many of our East Indian brothers and sisters have reported that they've been called and threatened. And they're not threatening them about their jobs only. They're telling them that what they will do with their homes and so on. That's the PPP. That's the PPP who claim they care. But we will stand with our teachers. Wickedness will not last for very long in this country. If you don't want teachers to go on strike, pay them. 1 year you give 8%, and the next year you give 6.5%, when inflation rate is way above the teacher's head, way above the citizens in this country head. And look how these people are so disrespectful. The pensioners, $3,000 alone they could find to give the pensioners as an increase. Huh? And you're talking about you care? You care about who? Huh? I watch y'all with scorn. Who you care about? Huh? Who you care about? Some of you put yourselves in the places of ordinary citizens and tell me if you could make out. Huh? Pensioners, $3,000 they give to the pensioners. $3,000. Huh? The people who serve this country, who serve the education sector, who served in the public sector, who served in the Guyana Defense Force and the Guyana Police Force. But y'all behaving as if some of you will not get old. You're behaving as if some of you will not get old, and y'all might be right. Y'all ain't gonna get old. Y'all might be very right. But you know, the picture that was the video that we posted just now, it was not a Coretta McDonald alone, you know. It was what the parents and the teachers sent. So all of y'all who jump in on the Coretta McDonald bandwagon, let me remind y'all, I don't come to beg y'all for anything. I don't come to ask you for any personal favor. When I call y'all and I send you messages, it's because I'm sending you messages on behalf of the teachers. And some of them y'all still don't fix it. You still don't fix it. Could you imagine we have a teacher in Region 3? This teacher went to the US. She was pregnant. Developed complications. They had to do emergency surgery and take her baby from her to save her and to save the baby. Now, this teacher went up there during the August vacation. You know, when this teacher returned in September, she did not receive any salary. They cut her salary, even though the teacher sent in all of the documents. That's the kind of hardness people that we got to deal with. And you're coming here to talk about your care. Care about who? CPC, the children CPC, your parents and children CPC to write grades and to give grades. So what the students did not do. The people don't care quantity, about quantity, you know? About quantity and happy that our parents the things that people are doing exactly as the thank you very much. The lectures are reading. The teachers college. Yeah, grades because lecturers stay there for their purpose of power. Power. Look, the strike will be on. The strike will be on. The strike will be on. Monday the strike is going to be on. So we will do what we have to do. We will do what we have to do. I just thought that I needed to come to let you know this because I don't send anything out there to tell us to threaten teachers and to scare teachers. Teachers will not be moved. Teachers are standing. And this has nothing to do with politics because this is the nonsense that they will go out there with. This has nothing to do with politics. It is about bread and butter issues for our teachers. So, colleagues, let me say to you, the union makes us strong. And we will band together. We will band together. We will do what we have to do until the PDP gets right. You know, in 2018, when Priya Chand was jumping up all around and she was in support of the teachers, she was in support of us when we were striking against the coalition government. She was in support. Check her Facebook page, you will see those comments there. But when she is now minister, she wants people to strike. But Priya, you get it right. Get it right. If you can't fix it, the teachers will do what they have to do until you fix it right. Until you fix it right. So the teachers will be out in the streets, their services are going to be withheld, and we will do what we have to do. Teachers will do what they have to do. And viewers, let me say to you, we are not going to say to you if you want to bring a case or two of water, a case or two of juice for the teachers that it has to catch the bureaucracies. We're not going to say that to you. If you want to drop off 2 cases of water that the teachers might be out there on the streets, feel free to do so. If you want to drop off a case or two or three of juice for our teachers, feel free to do so. If you want to drop off a box of biscuits for our teachers driving on the streets, feel free to do so. Because we will be appreciative of what you're doing to support us. We will be out there, we will stand together, and we will let the military and the entire world know the conditions under which teachers have to work, the low salaries that teachers are receiving. And in this oil-rich economy, we are not accepting that. The ministers have stopped short of saying what their salaries are. and the other benefits that they receive. That is not even quarter of what our teachers can get. But the day will come, time will come when teachers across this country will not only band together, but they will jump for joy because we will have no more of the wicked Pharaoh and his crew, no more of the wicked Pharaoh and his cabal, because that change is going to come. So be good Guyanese citizens, be good Caribbean brothers and sisters wherever you are, and let us work towards making this country, Guyana, our country, a country that stands with people who care about all of us. When we will stand again very proud as one people, one nation, with one destiny, a Guyana that we will all love, a Guyana that will be safe for our children, safe for our workers, safe for everyone. And the patrimony of this country will be shared amongst all of us. And we will live lives that are comfortable. Do enjoy the rest of the week. Be careful on the roadways, all the congestions that we are having on the road. And mind you, we are not opposed to progress. We're not opposed to new structures and new schools, school buildings being erected. We're not opposed to that. We want it to happen. And the coalition would have done much more than that if we had the monies. But you cannot just build schools because you want to steal the monies. Build schools and put the proper systems in place. Ensure that you have all the features that we're supposed to have in the schools. Because if you're building schools now, you must build modern schools and ensure that we have the facilities in there. So Saddam Hussein, you got work to go and do tonight. And just get off my back about Coretta MacDonald and Coretta MacDonald. You probably just call my name in your sleep. Get off my back. I'm General Secretary for the GTU, just the same way you're Chief Education Officer, who was handpicked. Because the Public Service Ministry, there's a procedure. I wasn't handpicked. I was elected by thousands of teachers. So colleagues who are watching me at this time, Lyndon, we got you, we on board, and we're thankful that you are there with us. Region 9 and Region 8, Region 7, Region 6, 5, and 3, GTU got your backs. And we will stand there together like the teachers who mold this country. Have a good night. Be careful on the roadways, and may God continue to bless all of you. Bye-bye. See you next week for more on advancing the cause, where we'll delve a little more into the education budget. Bye-bye.